Hello, this video extends instructional video STU03, the math cell. I'm going to use a ready-made file that takes us back where we left it at the end of video 3. And I'm going to show you how to use the math cell call units component in order to further subdivide any given room over here. So I'm going to drag the component. Now this component is needs to be connected to the math cell component, and you need to select which series of rooms you're going to subdivide. So I'm going to go for S2, which is the one in the foreground. Then you remember we have the grid that we used. That too needs to be routed into the grid parameter of the math cell units, and you may be slightly surprised by the defaults. So the first thing to do is to make sure that we create a slider with a real number from 0 to 1, which we'll use as a percentage, and route that slider into the parameter percentage. What this means is that we start with a fully covered S2 area, and then by increasing the percentage of culling, we are actually removing some of that space. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to show you how the grid is actually subdivided. That grid is the result of parameter div, which subdivides that particular room into sort of 3 columns and 3 rows. So you can change the parameter just as you did for the main component, simply by creating a panel and entering the rows and columns. So I'm going to go for 4 rows, 8 columns, and then route this into the div parameter in order to get control over the grain of the culling. So once this is done, you see what the component outputs is a series of curves or meshes. So I'm going to create a curve component to collect the output of the culling. And then, just as I did in the previous tutorial, I'm going to extrude it. Extrude the geometry. The fastest way to do that is with, I guess, a panel in which I will enter the coordinates of the extrusion vector, in this case 0, 0 and 100 units along the z-axis. And once this is done, you see it extrudes these subdivisions by the same amount that we displaced that ledge over here. And then we can just cap the holes, and once the holes are capped, we can simply bake the result on any layer. I'm going to bake as well the what I call the cornice here, which is just this ledge that runs along the top right here. I'm just going to bake it as well, and turn off Grasshopper and change the shading to Arctic so that you can see what we have created. You see, it's that series of elements, that series of modular elements that are now further subdividing the main rooms. Thank you.